it at least looks like the Alec Baldwin shooting situation on the film that they were making, Rust, in which a cinematographer tragically lost her life, has now been brought to something of a conclusion, at least as far as Alec Baldwin goes. As of yesterday, all charges against Alec Baldwin have been dropped. Now, it's important to note there are still one or two other people involved in this case where the charges have not been dropped, and maybe appropriately so. But the charges against Alec Baldwin as of this moment have now been dropped. Now, this has been not only an incredibly tragic situation where somebody lost their life, but it also then became a little bit of a circus. And it started with charges being brought against Alec Baldwin. And now, look, we're just going to call it what it is. People in this country, left and right, will do stupid, stunty things. Everybody does. In this particular situation, it came to light that a Republican member of the state Senate specifically who was a prosecutor, specifically requested to be the prosecutor on the Alec Baldwin case. Of course, Alec Baldwin's been famous in the last few years for impersonating Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. And it was inappropriate for a sitting member of the state Senate to then interfere in the legislature. Not illegal, but considered highly unethical to do it. And they were completely incompetent as well, because one of the first things they did was they charged Alec Baldwin with a crime to a law that did not exist when the incident happened. Any law clerk could tell you, you can't do that. And they eventually, they were like, oh, that's right. So they had to drop that charge. And pretty much most of the legal field said that there really isn't a case here. Like all the analysts that we read, the legal analysis that I read was that there's really not much of a case. The reality is, and here's what sucks. There is a set of procedures on a movie set. From what all the reports that we read, the procedures were followed. They were followed. Alec Baldwin, who is not a weapons expert, had a weapons expert clear the gun as being cold, which means it is not dangerous, it's not loaded, it's a completely safe prop. That was then handed to the assistant director, which looked it over. But the assistant director is not a weapons expert in and of themselves anyway, but still. So the armorer verified the gun is safe, handed it to the assistant director, then handed it to the actor. And the actor, believing that he had nothing in his hands other than a prop, was actually a loaded, deadly weapon, and it ended up killing somebody. Now, I've often compared this to, and some people say it's not the same thing, and I'm sorry, it is the same thing. If somebody handed you an apple to eat, and you did not know there was a razor in the apple, and the pressure of you taking a bite spit the razor out, and it sliced the person's throat across the room for you, that's not your fault. And this is going to be something that Alec Baldwin is going to have to get therapy for the rest of his life, because accident or not, I still remember I watched this footage of this baseball player once who hit a foul ball totally innocently. The foul ball hit a kid and the player was inconsolable. Like the player just collapsed. Can you imagine? You're just doing your thing. I was joking before the show started. I said, Ray, imagine if you turned on your computer, but that inadvertently caused some kind of an electric shock that traveled through the desk and electrocuted Chris. Like, you clearly, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm sorry. I would hit Jonathan first.
I'm grounded.
Jonathan was at the bathroom.
See, I made sure I was grounded. So
I'm not.
with this,
It's my biggest acting note I ever get.
grounded.
Grounded. But I mean, even though it wasn't your doing, but you would never get over that. You would never get over that.
Maybe.
You would be heartbroken.
about it.
You bring me sweet gifts. You would be so inconsolable if you murdered me.
He would feel terrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Jonathan wouldn't.
it's just been an awful situation from start to finish, and it's good. Now, it should also be pointed out that the prosecutors, the ones who are left, because they had to appoint new prosecutors, The prosecutors in the case said, now, hey, listen, we do reserve the right that we can refile the charges later if we come across new evidence or we discover new things. We reserve the right to refile the charges, which is totally appropriate. That's totally appropriate for them to say. Now, I heard some people online already saying, well, you can't do that. If you're dropping these charges, you can't charge a person a second time. That's not true. That's not double jeopardy. Double jeopardy is you can't be taken to court for it twice. Like, this never went to court. Don't forget about that. Like, there were charges filed. They dropped the charges, never went to court. Now, if it went to court and he was found innocent, they couldn't charge him again later. So this is a totally different situation. So yes, the prosecutors can refile the charges later on if they feel they come across new evidence that maybe suggests Alec Baldwin did have something to do with it. So that's important to keep in mind. Anyway, Chris, I feel like one of the big unfortunate things about this whole circus has been we've lost sight of the fact that a young woman lost her life doing what she loved doing. Like, she was on a set making movies and just doing her job. She ended up getting shot and died. And hopefully through the remainder of this case, when the other people get charged and whatnot, we'll find out what went wrong, what happened here. But you saw that they dropped the charges against Alec Baldwin, and now they're saying they're going to go back and keep making the movie. What do you think about this whole situation?
That's the part that I find very interesting, because I just can't imagine going back onto that set, frankly. She was such an integral part of this film. You know, the entire cast and crew talked about how important it was to everything on this. She was a wife, she was a mother, she was an incredible cinematographer who was really, really just starting to cut her teeth and everything. So it's interesting to me that they are going to go through on this film. I know for the people involved, including her husband, it's been said because this was such a passion project for her that they feel like they're honoring her memory. But gosh, that's going to be a tough time on set. I do think too, I'm hoping, because we've seen this happen time and time again, right? Of incidents on set leading to somebody's death when it comes to weapons. And the onus definitely is on the armorer here. I know a lot of people, we've had this discussion before about like, a gun feels different when it's loaded and all this or that. Prop guns, all these other things, it really is the responsibility of the armorer to be working with the actor about setting up that cold firearm, right? And the big thing here is, why are we even doing this, right? Why are we using blanks that, when fire off, even under the best of circumstances, could still damage somebody or hurt somebody? So there's more and more talk about just kind of doing CGI, little gun explosions and stuff like that.
Wasn't it Nathan Fillion's show, The Rookie? Where after this happened,
they immediately made that change.
Yeah, they made the transition, saying, no more. We are never using blanks again. Yeah,
and that's gone fine. That has gone absolutely fine. And I think that's one of the things that needs to happen, is you just make that sort of change. When you're presented with data of, hey, this is something that could happen very easily with, just a misstep, why would you keep doing the same thing? So change up how you're doing things on set. That's what I'm hoping comes from all of this. And I just keep thinking about, too, this family who's been affected, Alec Baldwin, his family, too. I mean, everyone involved just must be so inconsolable. And my heart just really goes out to him, because what a horrific situation to be in.
The one question that I really hope gets answered: how did a
That-
live round of ammunition even be on the set at
Exactly.
all?
That's the real
How did that
investigation.
happen?
It makes no sense that this happened. It should not have happened. And it speaks to the inexperience of the armor. It speaks to just some absolute, negligence that this happened. That is absolutely inappropriate that a live round came anywhere near a set. And that is what I am so flustered by and bothered by, because this sort of thing should never, ever happen. There's absolutely no excuse.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this whole situation? The prosecutors have decided that there is no case to be made against Alec Baldwin. They've dropped the charges, at least for now. They do reserve the right to refile if they come across new information. There are still one or two other defendants that are being charged, though, with this. There's a lot of information we don't know. What do you think about the fact that they're going back to remake Rust? Like Chris pointed out, the widower, like her husband, has said, no, this was a passion project of hers. This movie should go on. But how do you go back to work after that? I don't know. Whatever you guys are thinking about this tragedy, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN. Guys, it is 2023, and online privacy and security has never been more important. You see, every device, phones, computers, tablets, has a unique IP address, which is like an internet phone number and reveals personal information about you. It's super simple for somebody online who knows what they're doing to find your IP address if you've ever clicked on a sketchy link or opened an email from somebody you don't know. Your IP address could become exposed. Now that's where ExpressVPN has your back. ExpressVPN is an app that hides your real IP address and replaces it with a dummy one, keeping you safe and private. And you don't have to be some kind of techie to use a VPN. Guys, it is so easy to use. Just download the ExpressVPN app on your phone or computer, tap one button to turn it on, and you're protected. And if you like your streaming entertainment, here's the coolest part. They let you choose what country you want your IP address to look like it's coming from. This is incredibly useful because services like Netflix and Disney Plus give you different shows depending on what country you're in. So secure your family's online activity and unlock tons of new shows by visiting expressvpn.com/Campea. Use my link and you can get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Campea. Go to expressvpn.com/Campea to learn more.